How are you ding-dong diddly doing there, gamerinos? Hope you're having a flanderific day. We will be joined here by Steven in a little bit. Like, it's like, oh yeah, so you have, it's like the SpongeBob meme with Manta Ray. Like, so you have the microphone on your computer, right? And Discord is not muted. It's saying that, like, it's picking up the microphone. Makes sense to me. So why is there no sound coming out of it? There's no microphone. Like, it makes no...
Okay. Just, we'll count to 3 and press play at the same time because I can watch the video as I hear.
Okay, alright. We're gonna start off with the one that you sent. And then we're going to do either the Tacitus one or the other one. Here we go. 1, 2...
oh wait, hold on. Just a little bit of background about this guy. He's, obviously a Christian. His name is John McCrae. He does a lot of videos on, like, pop culture stuff, and how to respond as Christians when we go through these current events scenarios, and how should we respond if something happens and stuff like that. So he's also deaf like me, so that's something that's also relatable. So
that's interesting.
Anyways,
I didn't know that. Then again, this is the only video I've ever seen by him, so.
Yeah, he wears a hat, so like you can't see it, the processor. So
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know what a processor is. I thought it was something for a computer.
Testimony about it. So.
Huh?
Hey. Anyways, get back to the counting down.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Oh. I gotta hit visit site too. Stop with all the pop-ups. Holy shit. So before we go on, I always like to go ahead and say, like, the channel name and the video so that people can go and watch it for themselves if they want, like, afterwards. So it's called Christians, You're About to Pick a Side, but by Whaddo You Meme, WHADDO You Meme, like, what do you meme, I guess.
Yeah, some of his old videos, at the end of it, he's saying, now that you know what to do with it, what are you going to say? What do you mean? And then the video ends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
I guess he stopped doing it because I guess a lot of people kept pressuring him to stop doing it, so, which is a little silly, but...
Oh, yeah. That would be like people saying, oh, Ultra, you gotta stop saying, how are you ding-dong diddly doing there, gamerinos? No, say it till I die.
Yeah. But, I mean, as Paul says, I want to be... I'm gonna butcher that first because I don't remember word for word. But basically, I can be all things for all people type of thing. In scripture. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Alright.
You ready?
Yes. Gonna start now.
LA is on fire again. Only this time it's protests and riots. And for the first time in years, the National Guard is on U.S. soil. Not for a foreign war, but because of immigration. Now, depending on who you ask, it's either an invasion that must be stopped or a humanitarian disaster that proves how heartless we've become. But if we don't see what's really happening underneath all of this, then you'll end up defending something that...
Oh, sorry, I want to pause it real quick. Let me know if you want me to pause it at any point, if you want to make, like, a point. That's typically how I do these videos, is, like, I'll watch it, and then I'll go and I'll pause it, and I'll do, like, a little bit of commentary on it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Alright.
So let's break down what's really happening. Expose what both sides miss and how a gospel perspective changes everything. To understand what's really going on in LA, you need to know know what just happened and why it exploded so fast. This all started with the immigration raids. On Friday morning, ICE agents stormed multiple sites across Los Angeles, bursting into places like clothing warehouses and the fashion district. People filmed as agents in riot gear dragged workers into unmarked vans. People shouted at the agents, some threw things at them, and others spray-painted ICE trucks in real time. And here's where things really started to escalate. One of the people arrested was David Huerta, the president of SEIU California. So when people saw that a union leader was slammed to the ground and hauled off, the tension boiled over. And by Saturday, it was chaos.
Los Angeles has suffered its third and worst day of the riot so far.
Protesters and federal agents clashing in Southern California.
Los Angeles, City of Angels, now on fire.
In Paramount, a Latino-majority neighborhood, protesters showed up after ICE raided a Home Depot where day laborers gathered. The chant was simple: ICE, go home. But by 4 p.m., things only got worse. Rocks were flying, bottles shattered windshields. One Molotov cocktail reportedly injured 3 deputies. A car was set on fire in the middle of an intersection. Riot cops moved in, and Trump deployed the National Guard. For the first time in decades, a president sent U.S. troops into the state without the governor's permission. Armored vehicles rode into L.A. Streets were locked down. Protesters were tear-gassed outside of the federal detention center downtown. Now, some are calling it justice, and others are calling it martial law.
Pause it.
Mm-hmm.
Pause it.
Yep.
So, just a quick political question.
Mm-hmm.
Do the president need to ask the attorney general for permission to do stuff like this?
You mean the governor?
Okay. I was just curious.
No.
Saying that.
Absolutely not.
He should do that. Not saying that is a bad thing he didn't do it. It's just I was just curious because of ignorance on my part.
Yeah, so first of all, I also want to point out, because he made it sound like there was only one car that was on fire. That is, no, there was a ton of cars on fire. Mass lootings, and again, it looked like a war zone from Ukraine or whatever. It was very bad. And the governor, and you know what, since this is a Jesus stream, I will refer from using the nickname that Trump and I like to use for him. But the governor of California was not really doing a whole lot.
Right.
And which makes sense, because California is a very, very blue state, very, very sanctuary city vibes. So technically, and I guess to answer your question real quick, no, absolutely not. The president does not have to talk to anyone, actually, to move troops around, which is why, if you remember the whole controversy with the MS-13 gang member that got deported, and everyone was like, you need to bring him back immediately, you need to turn the plane around. And it's like, the reason that they didn't have to turn the plane around is because judges cannot, or anyone besides the president cannot, tell military personnel to go anywhere or do anything. That's why he's the commander-in-chief.
Right.
Yeah. So that answers that.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I was just curious because I was just a little ignorant on that part. It's been a long time since I've studied American government, back in high school.
I gotcha. Yeah. No, this is kind of my thing. We were talking about that a little bit.
Yeah.
But so basically, and this is a giant shock that the governor of California would not do anything about it. Very sarcastic there, by the way, because this is the same guy that pretended to be on a phone call with Joe Biden while some lady was asking him what they were going to do about the fires in L.A. From a couple months back, if you remember that, and basically just gave her the get away from me vibes. He likes to pretend that he's doing his job while not actually doing his job.
Right.
So, obviously, if you're a sanctuary city, you do not have to help ICE. You do not have to help the federal government. However, you do not have the right to impede or fight ICE or any federal agency. So,
Yeah, that part I know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not saying that just to you. I'm letting everyone know that. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
no, 100%. If anything, I need to be better at knowing American politics. While it may not be my first and foremost passion, but like, I do think it's important to know how your country works, and then uh, how you can do right by your country through the lens, God's lens,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
I also like to I don't remember who said this, but it's so smart and so true. You may not come for politics, but politics will come for you. So it's always nice to at least have a base level understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm. Also, I just want to say that it always makes me laugh that the people that are like, history is stupid. Why are we learning history in school? It's like, yeah, so that you don't make really ignorant choices later on down the road, or you understand why
100%.
things are the way they are. Like, you can't sit here and be upset with well, I'll just throw this one out because it's like it's kind of on topic. Saying that, oh, you got to give all of these people being deported like 100% due process that a U.S. citizen would have. No, no, they do not have the same due process rules that citizens have. That's literally why the 14th Amendment was created, is because the freed
Yeah.
slaves weren't considered citizens, therefore they didn't have the same constitutional protections. So to amend that, badoom, they made the 14th Amendment, which was the least they could do for them,
Yeah.
and it just basically gave them constitutional rights and said they were, well, it made them citizens, so therefore they had constitutional rights.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
This is a lot of talking about the Constitution for,
No, it's
for
fine.
SFC.
And,
Funny.
and it's not really the heart of this video, anyways.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean, I guess
what-
it is a God-inspired document. I'll say that. Like,
yeah.
the people who wrote it definitely had God in mind while writing it.
Right. Yeah. So, and anyways, by the way, what timestamp are you on?
2:05.
I was like a couple seconds behind.
Gotcha. I'm at 2:05.
2:05. Let me get to it. Oops.
Also, it kind of makes you think, considering how long our country has lasted. Maybe that has something to do with it. That the founders, had God in mind, and God tends to really bless, well, in one way or another, those that bless Him and others. So,
True.
you ready?
That's a good point.
Thank you. You ready to move on, or you got anything else to say?
Nothing else at the moment.
Cool.
3,
So complicated.
2.
Ooh.
Oh wait.
Sorry, I'm at 2:06 now.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
It could be half a second.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Those of us that are Christian. On the one hand, when we look at all of the chaos going on in LA right now,
Oh, we're good.
for us to understand
Nice.
those who say rules are rules. You shouldn't be here illegally, and you knew the risk. You broke the law, so now you pay the price. Now, some might hear this as hate, but at the same time, borders matter. That's how civilizations work. Law matters. If we abandon that, we don't get justice, we get anarchy. And on top of that, Christians are called to uphold justice in places like Romans 13, with the call for...
All right. Quick pause. Sorry. There's something else I want to add on here.
Yeah.
Also, it's not humanitarian at all to support people coming over the border because that they have to go to something called coyotes, which are basically cartel members that do not give a shit if you live or die. Their whole purpose is to take your money, and if you get across the border, you get across the border. If you die along the way, they ain't helping you. Doesn't matter if you're a pregnant woman, doesn't matter if you're a child, doesn't matter if you're an old man. They will leave you to die. And let me just tell you, that's probably one of the nicer things that they do, because they do a lot of I don't
I'm
I don't want
aware
to
of
say the.
cartels.
Oh well, I'm just saying this
I'm
for
aware. Yeah.
right. I'm saying this for everybody, not just for you.
Oh no.
Yeah. But yeah, they do some very very bad things, some very Diddy-esque things, I guess you could say. Um, yeah. Again, those are horrible horrible people, and we should not be encouraging them. Secondly, a lot of them come to the United States and they will work jobs that are less than minimum wage, so they're essentially slaves. Like if you're working for less than minimum wage, that's again a horrible thing, but they'll do it
Right.
because the US dollar is worth so much more than their home currency. So they're going to be making so much more, and again, that's still not
Yeah.
that's not a correct way of thinking. And on top of it, if a lot of I'm going to use this as a good example. Fruit companies and roofing companies. Uh, if they don't think you're working enough or working hard enough, they will hold it over your head, like, "Oh, we're going to report you" or whatever, um, to get them to do basically whatever they want them to do.
Right.
So that's just what I wanted to add on there. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree with like that. If anything, they should be the first ones to deport and stuff like that.
right.
Um.
There's just a process for it, and like as someone who is actually really good friends with a legal immigrant who came over from Brazil with his family, it's also kind of a slap in the face to them because they went through
Yeah.
like so much effort, they paid so much money, they like
Yeah.
all learned English and did everything the right way, and it really irritates him that like they get to take all of these shortcuts or whatever, and it's like
Yeah.
he didn't have to go through all of that. Like
Yeah.
it's so not
Yeah.
fair
Just
to
go through the
him,
border.
you know?
Yeah. It's just. Yeah. And one thing is true. It is. The legalization process is pretty difficult. I actually know someone who's a
Mhm.
legal citizen. He was from Canada, and it took him many years. So like it's very difficult, but it is very much needed. First of all,
Right.
but it still doesn't it's still criminal to get there and stuff like that.
Right.
To go through illegally.
Right. And
Yeah.
also I know that you probably don't believe this, but like I hear this a lot. Like it's not a crime to cross the border. It absolutely is. It's like there's a literal U.S. code that says that is very
Yeah.
illegal and that you will be faced with X amount of years in prison or X amount of fine and then deported. So I just want to cut that off at the
Yeah.
knees right there.
Yeah, it is very much legal. I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And also like, nah, you know what? We'll get into this later.
What time stamp are you're at?
2:36.
2:36.
You know what? And actually, huh?
Okay. Right when the
I was
Romans
just
13 pops up.
yes, I was just gonna read Romans 13, 2 through 1 actually, since it's up here, and I don't think he went through the entire verse. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment on themselves.
Very true.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I have once used this verse to kind of punk somebody.
Yeah, no, it's
just for the
honestly,
trolls.
Romans 13 is literally the first thing every time people saying that we don't have to respect our government, Earl. Like the Romans 13 immediately comes to mind. I just say, hey, just read Romans 13, 1 through 7.
Mm.
And 9 out of 10, they're like, I changed my mind.
Right.
So, yeah. Because, if God appoints people to rule over us, then he knows what he's doing. He has a plan. So, regardless of who is our president or king or prime minister or whatever ruler in the world there is, ultimately God orchestrated for that person to lead for different reasons. I mean, if you look at the history of Israel, before they were captured by Babylonians, there were several kings. Long story short, Israel was split into two different countries, the north being Israel and then the south being Judah.
Right.
North, when that happened, so the north did not have any king that followed God. And then in Judah, only 4 kings followed God. So it doesn't. So even though it's God's chosen people, but sometimes God may give us something, someone to rule over us because. It's storming really bad over here. Sometimes to punish us.
Right. Or
because of our own sin nature, and honestly, America really needs God. So
definitely.
we're living in sin, and not just living in sin, but we're affirming that sin. And I truly believe that Biden, when Biden was our president, I believe it was almost like a God orchestrating it to where a punishment that we deserve because we rebelled against him.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, because he was kind of the extreme opposite of what we've got right now, and all sorts of shit ran rampant. You're absolutely right on that, at least in my opinion. I also
and then even Trump, he's not a believer, so he's not gonna. And even if he was, he's still not gonna be perfect. I mean, David,
he claims that he is. He claims that he is. So I give him the benefit of the doubt on that. Even Biden said that he was a Catholic, and I don't. This is the way I look at it. Is you can say that the only person that right now that I will 100% say that they kind of act like they're a Christian, but they are 100% not a Christian, is Diddy, and that's just because he was at his court hearing and he held up a Bible. Okay, sure, right, buddy. You're trying to score points for the jury. But even Biden, he says that he's a Catholic, and that's between him and God. So
100%.
The
scripture also says you'll know by their actions.
Right.
And and obviously I don't know 100%. I've been surprised about people who I thought were Christians and then come out and say, I'm a Christian now. I accepted Christ now, even though I thought they were. So, you don't really know. I mean, it says in 1 Samuel that you tell by the outward appearance, but God can tell by the heart. So,
right.
Ultimately, God knows.
2 quick points that I want to make is, firstly, one of my favorite Trump quotes ever is, "In America, we don't worship government, we worship God." I love that one.
I do love that quote.
Yeah, it's great. And then the other point I wanted to make is that how you were saying that sometimes God will send a bad ruler to punish us. I feel like not only that, but all of the other, because again, the big world out there, all the other God-fearing nations can look at that and go, wow, they are straying from God, and that is no thanks. I don't want to do what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, China is one of the fastest growing church, like, fastest growing new conference. And it's illegal to be a Christian over there. So,
Right.
yeah, so it's
They're also
I will never forget this video. I saw a video of people smuggling Bibles to China, and there was a bunch of young, probably either like older teenagers / early adults, and they had a bag of Bibles, and like as soon as they open up, instantly people were diving in, trying to grab it, and were just in tears or something like that. And I just like we literally have a Bible somewhere, like
right.
we can literally access to our phone, and we can read it out loud in a public place without much consequences other than carrying, something.
Right. Or you might have some like atheist or whatever be like, you're reading the Bible, huh?
Yeah,
like that's
right.
the worst that's gonna happen to you.
Yeah, but like we just don't treat it good. Like it's like we're putting it on the shelf to show that we're Christians, but we're not reading it. Or even if we are, we tend to not do what the
Take it to
scripture
heart.
says. So it's just, that's something I pray for, is that I almost want America to be a heavily persecuted Christians if it's the only way to turn people to Christ.
Mm-hmm. Well,
yeah.
A couple quick things. I've seen the even more extreme where people smuggle them into North Korea and like they get straight up executed for it.
Yeah.
And those people are like they still hold church or whatever in their basements, and just even in that dystopian hellscape, like it still thrives.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
this has nothing to do with anything, but China is also the greatest threat to global security, like out there currently. People say it's Russia. It is not Russia. It is China.
Yeah.
I trust the CCP
Sure.
as far as I can throw them. And and you know what? This is something you should be quite happy about. I was seeing there's quite a few statistics saying that our generation, men especially, are becoming more involved with like church and Christianity, not only like here but in Europe as well. It's not really my cup of tea, but the Orthodox Church, they are having like a giant spike in people like going to church and converting. Like I want to say that it's the first generation in about 3 or 4 generations where the number of people like involved in the church and who are say that they're Christian is the same, if not a little higher than the last generation. So
that's awesome.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right.
Praise God.
It's very very encouraging.
Yeah, and it's neat to see too, because like in my church right now, it's usually the other way around, but we actually have more male students than female students. It's like I would say 3/4 of the youth ministry is male, which is good because we need godly men in our society to lead our families to God. It's super important, and so it's kind of neat to see, because and then the underneath thing is we actually have more guy leaders than female leaders. We're actually kind of struggling with female leaders, getting female leaders a little bit, but like we have an opportunity as men to help raise this next generation to lead their families to God,
Right.
to lead the next generation to God. So I'm starting to see that around a little bit. Although America's still, in general, still declining with God, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, we're getting better because like I said, that at least in our generation we are. Because it's, like I said, at the same, if not a little higher than what the last generation was.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said it was Europe.
Well, I said in America and Europe. But for Europe, it's more like the Orthodox, I think, is kind of taken off over there again.
Yeah.
Also, I don't remember the numbers on it, but you're more likely to continue going to church if you go to church with your dad and your mom rather than just your mom. So
Yeah, that's true.
it's very encouraging.
Yeah, some guy explained it best, like that you need to have both parents, because this doesn't apply to everybody, but like men tend to be more pragmatic and more direct,
Right.
and like if you see the problem, we got to correct that problem.
Right, we fix it. Right.
Whereas the mom is a little bit more the heart of the matter. It's like not too harsh, or
they want to deal with your feelings.
I'm gonna hold you while I'm disciplining you, or something like that.
Yeah, the way that I always hear it is that women are about feelings and men are about facts.
Yeah, pretty much, and you really need both. It's like if you don't have men, and then study shows that the kids will be spoiled brats and will harm the society. If women are not in a homes, like, they're going to be a-holes to people.
Yeah, that's very right. That sounds accurate.
Both parents are important. So.
Yeah. Anything else to add?
Yep. All right. Do I keep going, or do you have anything else?
No, I was going to keep going. All right, let me know when you want me to start.
At 2:36, right?
2:36, correct.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Oops.
I mean, really think about it. A government that doesn't enforce its own laws is a government that can't protect anyone. And at times like this, when trafficking is real and cartels are organized and systems are overwhelmed, there's a genuine concern for protecting families, maintaining order, and keeping vulnerable people safe. So the concern is valid. Law isn't the enemy. A concern doesn't make you unchristlike. In fact, it might be exactly the kind of wisdom that Proverbs tells us to walk in. Okay, but on the other hand, we also don't want to let our concern for order blind us to human pain. From the perspective of the pro-immigration side, their claim is that everyone has a story, and people don't risk everything to cross a border because life is good back home. They do so because they're desperate. You'll hear phrases like "no human is illegal," and we'll see protest signs with things like "keep families together." And for those of us who personally have friends and family that are immigrants, we understand just how complicated and difficult the process of immigration is, and that only elevates tension for a lot of people. We hear stories of kids being separated from parents, of families fleeing cartel violence, and of people just trying to survive.
Okay, couple things I want to talk about here real quick.
Yeah.
So, first off, I thought that, because we had talked about this earlier, I don't remember it being here. I thought it was a couple, whatever, but he says that you don't hear stories, or you hear stories of families being separated. So, at least under this administration, I can tell you that's patently false. You have a choice. If you're deported and you have kids or family, you have a choice. You can be deported together, or you can have them stay in the United States and you get deported. So that is up to you. That is not a choice the government is just like, we're ripping you away from your family now. No, that's like, if you want them to stay, then they can stay. But if you're not here legally, you gotta go.
Yeah, and I can totally see why you would think is something that we say because he had like a little pause over there, but it seemed like he was continuing on. Like you hear things like this, or you hear stories like this,
Right.
and yeah, so that's why I was like, I don't think he said that, but I can see why it can be interpreted that way.
Yeah. I like to, because I mean, I hear that from people. So I just feel like I need to go ahead and just again cut it off at the knees there and be like, no, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. No, it's you either choose to be deported together or leave your kids behind.
Right.
So, yeah.
And honestly, no matter which one you choose, the anti deportation crowd will say that you're doing something wrong. I literally saw in 1 week there was, how dare you deport someone who's considered an American citizen? And it's like, but she said that she wanted her families apart. And another one, it's like, well, she said that she wanted her kids to stay here. So it's like you really can't win.
Yeah, no, you really can't.
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that, and maybe I'm getting out ahead of him. Maybe I'm getting out ahead of him, but I don't really care. I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay.
Jesus instructs us to love our neighbor. Jesus does not say love your neighbor through the government. So that means that you can, if someone needs food, you give them food. Someone needs clothes, you give them clothes. Like a great example, I had some guy come into the shop and he was like, "Man, I'm hungry. I'm in this work program, and because I had just got out of jail or whatever, and I don't have any food." And so I went and I gave him a bag of, I mean, it was the only food that we had available. I let him have his choice of freeze-dried candies. I was like, here, you can have some of this, all right? Like that.
Right.
That is how you love your neighbor, right?
Right.
There's a great meme I saw where it's Jesus, Jesus, and he's preaching like love your neighbor or whatever, and someone goes, so that means increase our tax money to Rome so that they can love our neighbor. And Jesus says, I'm going to start this over again. You let me know where I lost you. Yeah, they're if you want to give money to help people, there are charities, right? And charities are, and like I said, just helping the people that you see every day. Or you know what? If you feel that way, you can always do a mission trip.
True.
And stuff. But it is not the government's job is to help and protect and defend the people of our nation. First and foremost is to get to. It's going to sound a little fucked up, but our interests. That is their job. So
yeah.
If
I was forces, honestly, I actually recently just went through the Law of Moses.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to it at work, which is why I was able to get through within a week. But a big part of why God basically told the Israelites to not associate themselves with foreign nations, or let the foreign nations come into them, because God knows their hearts. And if you remember from reading that, they are complainers.
Right.
So their hearts were very weak. But the problem is, they're easily influenced by idolatry.
Mm-hmm.
And if you read through, I just listened to the whole book of Judges, and it's that cycle of they were delivered, then they rebelled and fell idolatry, and then they got captured, and then they repented, and God sent someone to deliver them, and then it happens all over again.
Yeah.
Like, that's something the Israelites struggle with, is idolatry. And you know what other foreign nations do? They celebrate idol. They worship false gods.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if the Israelites had them come here, will come into their camp, they would easily influence them to turn away from God.
Right.
And stuff like that. So Bible 100% supports it. And then it doesn't mean that there hasn't been foreign people over there. I mean, we got Rahab, for example, Ruth, as another example.
Right.
But the difference is they have faith. So that's the main difference.
Yeah. I also want to just point out that, like, I know that I said that we should be serving our interests and everything, and that, like, the government is essentially not a charity, but the United States is a charity, though. No matter how you cut it, like, if you're gonna be like, well, but Doge cut all of this, like, USAID stuff, it's like, yeah, I mean, they went through and they cut shit like, I don't know, Iran Sesame Street, or an LG, or what was it, a trans opera in Colombia, and a lesbian comic book in Ireland. Like, yeah, that shit should 100% be cut. But even though that they went through and they cut billions of dollars from USAID, they may have even folded it, we still give out, like, charity. We still give out money to nations that need it.
Yeah.
We still are the number one in all of the world. Like, all the European nations can sit there and act like they're better than us, but they do not come close to giving out the amount of aid that the United States gives to foreign nations. So, to sit there and say that we don't do anything is ridiculous. Like, we give out so much money because, again, this nation was just born from Christian ideals and helping out those that are less fortunate than us. I still feel like we should be trying to help out our unfortunate, like our homeless population and drug addicted population before we start spreading that to, like, other nations. That's just me personally. Again, that's the America First MAGA coming out. But that being said, we still do it. We still give out. We're the number one supplier of aid in the world. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, also, another thing, too, is that, like, as Christians, we need to work on our own relationship with Christ. And if we can't do it, we can't really share the gospel to other people efficiently. So we work on ourselves in order to be helping other people. See, like, I want our country to be a place where we can accept refugees, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we need to work on our own problems first,
right? So
that we're able to help people. If that makes sense.
I am detecting a nice red hat.
Yeah, no, I'm a Republican myself. I'm Republican, so I'm.
Yeah.
So I do support this. I do have some issues with certain Republicans. I won't name them, but, like.
Oh, you're much kinder than I.
They go over. Yeah, they go. I'm sorry.
I said you're much kinder than I. I will name drop every single one of them I have issues with. Like Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, they're not terrible people. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like they go a little too far in some instances and stuff like that. So, like, and some of them do, like, even if they don't mean it, but they may don't view people as human, like the legal immigrants. And they see as Christians, even though we shouldn't support the sin, but we still need to treat them like human beings.
Right. They are people. You are 100% right.
Yeah, and I feel like there's certain Republican celebrities that kind of forget that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, well, I mean, also, not entirely to defend that behavior, but after, like, the last 4 years where it was just, like, they're literally, like, drunk driving and running people over and, like, the whole
yeah.
Lake and Riley and all of that, and then they're just like, well, you know what? We feel bad for you, so we're just gonna let you go. It's like, what? They're not gonna serve
Yeah.
any fucking jail time for this? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Like, no, I can understand the frustration is what I'll say. I can understand it when it feels like they've
No.
been getting like a get out of jail free card or like a
Right.
free pass to do whatever the hell they want when they're not supposed to be here in the first place. But that still does
Yeah.
not preclude them from being made in God's image. So,
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it's just, sometimes I just feel like, I hear jokes like, oh, fuck them, you know, or kill them, right?
yeah.
I hear things like that sometimes. And it's just like, okay, we don't need to go that far.
Yeah,
Deport
no.
them, yeah. Deport them, yes, but also be nice.
Right, we shouldn't be promoting death on anybody. Well,
Right.
maybe terrorists that are like actively trying to kill us. Maybe, you know,
Yeah,
I don't
like,
want to see any more 9/11s or anything like that. So,
yeah,
if they got to
that
die
one
in
thing,
order for that to not happen, I'm okay with that. But yeah,
yeah, that makes sense because we're defending ourselves. That makes sense.
hmm
Uh, but drunk driving, yes, that's also very dangerous. But it's something where it's just like, just arrest them, put them on the plane, and then say goodbye.
right.
We don't need to be. You see, like I've heard stories about like them arresting people when they're like in a church or something like that. In my opinion, yes, they need to be deported, but like I would wait till service is over. If that
Yeah,
makes sense.
fair enough. Well, I will say, I don't remember where this was, but I heard of a church that let someone in who was illegal, and apparently the police there are, it was in some other country, it wasn't America, of course, but the police
Yeah.
weren't legally allowed to interrupt a church service. So they held like a week long plus church service just so that they would go away. Like, all right, at that point,
I would,
you know what you're doing.
yeah,
You know what you're doing.
yeah.
Like,
Like
yeah.
I would give the courtesy 30 minutes after the scheduled time
hmm
of church being over. Yeah,
But yeah, no,
but yeah,
I
I would
agree.
just,
In
yeah,
America, we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be like busting into churches in the middle of
yeah,
service. We can wait for it to be over with. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe the thought is they don't want like if something goes south, they don't want like all the innocent people leaving church. I mean, yeah, like all the citizens leaving church to like get caught
Yeah,
in any kind of danger. Maybe that's the I don't know. I'm not part of DHS, so I don't know a
yeah,
DHS or ICE, so I don't really know how any of that goes. But maybe that's the thought process there.
yeah. I get you. Hey, can we can we just watch the rest of the video without any more interruptions?
Fair enough.
Because
Fair
I
enough.
didn't realize how long we would be
Yeah,
talking in
we're not
almost
four.
4 minutes.
Yeah, we're not even 4 minutes into it, right?
Yeah, so and I need to hop out relatively soon just because I'm meant to call my accountability partner. So
Okay, I gotcha.
yeah. So I say we finish the rest of the video and give our final thoughts, and then
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry we didn't get to watch the other video that you had
Yeah, it's
planned.
all right. It's all right. I can watch those tomorrow.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think it was going to take this long either, but here we are.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's what happens. It happens.
Right.
Anyways.
You want to count us
All
down?
right. I'm on 344. Where are you on?
3:42.
What time? Okay, let me jump back 2 seconds. Okay. Alright, you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
So the biblical arguments in support of this position. We read all of the commands of Scripture to care for the foreigner, care for the outsider, and the one on the margins. We remember that, in a sense, Jesus himself experienced forced displacement.
Did you know about the 3%
Oh.
rule for dog food? The kibble industry loves it. Basically, any dog.
So overall, and from that perspective, there's a real concern with us being so obsessed with legal status that we forget that we're talking about image bearers with real lives. So for a lot of Christians, this entire situation can be tricky because there's a strong need to protect our borders, but also a real desire to love and care for our neighbors. However, both sides here have a massive problem that they seem to be missing. For a lot of us Christians, this isn't just about a political divide, it's a spiritual tug of war. Because the deeper you go, the more it starts to feel like both sides are handling this from the perspective of the world rather than a gospel perspective. But before we get into that, we need to take a second to mention the perfect sponsor for a video like this, Ground News.
Alright, and I'm gonna skip past this ad.
Yeah, that's fair.
A lot of attention.
Is
Initiate the perfect tool for that in media. And if you want to unlimited access, sides have a massive problem. Okay, now back to this
Here
complex
we go.
immigration problem and how both sides have a massive problem that they seem to be missing. On the one side, those against the ICE raids, we often see the trap of empathy without wisdom. The world often goes so far into embracing
hey,
empathy
what time
that
stamp are you?
even if it means not protecting others.
Right now, I am at 5:57.
5:57. Yeah, by the way, Grounded News sounds interesting. I have to check it out. Just a quick side note.
Yeah.
Anyways, 3, 2, 1.
Others and doing what's best for them. This side leads with compassion, which can be a really good thing in a lot of cases, but here's where the mindset goes sideways. When compassion becomes the only value, truth gets pushed out the back door, and before you know it, lawlessness is excused, and dangerous systems and activities get a pass. The end result is that entire cities buckle under pressure because nobody wants to say, okay, enough is enough. Riots put people in danger and cost their own cities billions of dollars. And in the name of empathy and kindness, it's enablement. People stay trapped. And Jesus didn't give people a hug instead of the truth. He gave them both. Yes, our hearts should break for those that are hurting. But if that compassion doesn't come with clarity and courage, then we're not being wise. And we're also not being Christ-like. Okay, and on the flip side, there's another trap that Christians often fall into, and it's just as real. It's the accountability-only mindset. This is where we take the law and order perspective and crank the volume up until it drowns out everything else. It says, you made the choice, you broke the law, you don't get to play the victim. It sounds righteous, it feels just, but over time, something starts to shift. We stop seeing people as people, and we start reducing them down to caricatures. We stop seeing them as human beings just like us, and we start seeing them as only threats. We stop seeing them as people made in the image of God, and we start seeing them as only illegals. And here's what that perspective does to us. It makes justice feel like vengeance. It turns spiritual conviction into cultural hostility. And worst of all, it destroys our witness because when we're louder about border security than we are about wanting to show care and concern for our fellow image bearers, then we look just like the world. When we throw around Romans 13 like it's a rock in our hand, we've done what Paul warns us about, giving truth without love, which is just an annoying sound that no one wants to hear. At best, people will hear the truth as meaningless, and at worst, it also will only push them away. So yes, law matters. But if we forget the person behind the policy, we don't look like Christ anymore. We look just like the world. Okay, so what do we do with all of this? Well, as Christians, we're not called to just pick a better side. We're called to reflect the character of Christ. And when we look at the way that Jesus handled broken people and broken systems, here's what you'll notice. He doesn't echo either side. He confronts both and redirects people's view from a worldly perspective to a kingdom perspective. He didn't link arms with the accountability-only crowd. He didn't cheer for those who don't show any genuine compassion for the foreigners or the non-believers. Nor did he sanitize sin in the name of compassion. He never confused kindness with compromise, and he never shrugged off sin just because someone had a hard story. What he did instead was walk right into the middle of the mess and disarmed everyone. He exposed the self-righteousness that we on the right drift towards, and he didn't indulge in the excuses that the left often drifts into. He offers something that neither side ever saw coming: grace with teeth and truth with tears. The tension that we're seeing in LA right now is somewhat similar to what Jesus saw in Jerusalem. A woman was dragged into a crowd, caught in adultery. The law says that she should die. Those who passionately held to the law said, let's make an example out of her. And here's the thing, technically, they're not wrong. She did break the law. They had the verses to prove it. They had precedent. They had moral clarity, and they had stones in their hands. This is what the accountability-only mindset looks like when left unchecked. A holy cause with a hardened heart. But then there's the other danger, the empathy-only side that shows up today with the excuse, she's hurting, you don't know her story, don't judge her. And again, there's some truth to that. Compassion matters, but if that's all we say, we end up excusing the very thing that broke her in the first place. And this is why Jesus didn't take either approach. He doesn't pick up a stone, he doesn't sweep her sin under the rug. Instead, he looks down into the dirt, looks the mob in the eye, and says, let the one without sin cast the first stone. And as you know, one by one, the stones drop. He turns to her and says something that no one would have expected. He says, neither do I condemn you. Now, go and sin no more. Once again, Christ shows both truth and love at the same time. And that's really the gospel, isn't it? What Jesus does for us. The truth is, you're a sinner who deserves hell based on the things that you freely chose to do wrong. But there's also love. God loved you so much that he voluntarily took on the pain and punishment for you, enough to die in your place. And not only did he do all of this, he did it while showing compassion for his enemies. In the middle of Christ being literally tortured to death by his enemies, he prayed for their forgiveness. The crowd that dragged the woman thought that they were defending God's law. But Jesus exposed how they weaponized it. And today, sometimes we sound more like the mob than the Messiah. We forget that Jesus didn't come to validate our position. He came to crucify it and give us his position instead. So if you're looking for a biblical response to this immigration chaos, don't expect it to sound like a red talking point or look like a blue protest sign. It's gonna look like a savior, kneeling in the dirt, calling everyone in the crowd to drop their stones and telling them to face their own hearts first. Okay, hey, thanks so much for watching until the end. It really does help us in the algorithm when you do. And if you believe that the gospel should shape how we think in interactive culture, you can help us to keep doing that. We're a nonprofit ministry and your support makes this possible. Link down below in the description. Alright? See you guys on the next one.
Okay. So, I've got a couple of points. I was writing things down as we were going, so I tried not to miss anything. Oh no, my own bad handwriting. Oh, okay, I know what this is supposed to be.
Okay.
So, one thing I wanted to point out is we are defending our most vulnerable people by not just letting anyone come in. I always like to use this one. I think everyone does, because it's such a tragic, like, heartbreaking story with Lake and Riley.
Yeah.
Again, she would absolutely 100% be alive if that person was detained.
Yeah.
Like,
it happened in my state too.
Wait, I thought that one was... I thought Lake and Riley was in Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's in Georgia.
Yeah.
She was in Georgia.
Like, that...
That
horrifying...
We're talking about the same person.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I also want to say, just once again, I gotta reject the premise that, like, being on the right means that you don't, like, have a heart for people like this, because, again, not only the United States, like, I mean, I know that you don't want to go, you don't want to meet God and, you know, him go, so what'd you do down there? And you're like, well, you see, my government gave a ton of money in charity to people who needed it. But also, and this is statistically true, so I'm going to say it, people on the right do tend to give more money to charity than people on the left. So,
I agree with that.
I got to reject the premise there. Also, I don't care, like, how much you disagree with ICE and, like, deportations and what's going on, I don't see how burning cars, throwing rocks at people, throwing Molotovs at people, lighting shit on fire, burning or breaking into buildings and stealing shit, I don't see how that helps anything at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely no answer, no response that you could even try to justify there.
Right. Yeah. So I think, like, in general, do you have more to say on that topic?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Okay.
I've got a couple more things to say, but I can say them at the end if you
Okay.
got some stuff to say.
I got you. Yeah, I think, like, really more the point of the video is it's not really to pick a side. It's more like focus on Christ and how to respond as followers of Christ.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
I think he like mentioned about like the red pill thing and then the sign thing, because he just mentions the issues that both sides have. It's like in domination. So like Baptists where we can be a little traditional sometimes, like too traditional. That's really the main thing he was trying to say when he said that part. It's like both sides need to calm down a little bit. And now, as someone who's conservative, I do believe that the right wing is the right views, but like I do think that both sides just need to calm down a little bit and just turn to God, and then everything else can work well after that.
Yeah, you're right, but I just feel like the side fucking looting shit needs to calm down a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, you're absolutely right that we've got some people that are saying some very un-Christ-like things, and trying to treat people like less than human. Like, yeah, that happens sometimes, but on the whole, that is not the case. That's why I just feel like I had to bring some of that stuff up and just reject the premise there. Like,
And
I like to.
By the way, sorry.
Sorry, I just like to think. No, you're all good. I just like to think that most people that have taken the red pill are of the same opinion as like me and JD Vance and like Trump, where it's not like we want to hurt you or anything. It's just like you're not. I'm sorry, man. It's like we have laws, we've got rules, we've got to follow those. It's not that like, again, we want to hurt you or we just are out to get you or whatever. It's like, that's just the way this works, you know?
Yeah. And by the way, most of the negative stuff that someone on the right might bring it's mainly comments on social media,
right,
for the most part.
And from there,
and I think he's mainly talking about that. I don't think he's mainly talking about like leaders of our country, not just our political leaders, but like our like people that promote their side. But it's talking to everybody, because both sides. I mean, if you just go on Twitter alone,
yep.
like you'll see both conservatives and both liberals go at each other's throats and stuff like that. And it's just like, focus on Christ first. And even like in marriage, you can't really have a successful marriage if both parties do not love God first.
True.
It's because of the love they have for Christ, they're able to love each other more efficiently.
Right. No, I definitely agree with that. Any kind of marriage without Christ is, yeah, that's probably why we have so many divorces.
Yes, exactly. So, anyways, that's all I gotta say from that point.
Okay.
Is there another couple other points you want to bring up?
I have two more, or actually I got a couple more points. One, I don't think that the example that he used with like the people wanting to stone the woman was the greatest of examples, but that's whatever. That's neither here nor there, I guess.
Well, how come? Because I
Well,
think the opposite. But
I'm
why? So why you don't think it's a great example?
I personally, I don't think it's a great example because it's a story about people wanting to stone a woman, and it's not like we're trying to stone anyone. We're just trying to like enforce. I mean, I understand. It's like, I guess it's like it sounds just a little extreme, you know, to compare the two, because it's not like we're trying to kill anyone. We're just trying to like, all right, man, you got to go back home, you know.
I get what you mean, but it doesn't always have to be about killing someone. It's like it goes back to the point of saying like if we're not careful, we can get to the point where we can view people in our eyes saying that they're all sin. They don't deserve God and stuff like that. Like
Fair
if we're
enough.
not careful, we can tend to do that. I'll be real. Like towards the end of the election period, towards the beginning of the year, I was kind of similar to like the people that are like I was so into like conservatism, like I was even saying things like, "Oh, just bomb the cartel," you know, and just kill everybody. Well, not kill all the immigrants, but like raid all the immigrants and stuff like that. But I was reminded, like, put the love of Christ first. But also, what he said, something that was really good. It was like grace with teeth, truth with tears.
Yes. No, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, so I was recently reminded of that within the last month. So yeah, it's you gotta focus on Christ first and stuff like that. And I think the point he was trying to make is literally just like have grace, but you also like for people on the right have grace, for people on the left have truth, and
Right.
and we need both basically.
Yeah,
I think
we
that's
do
what he
need
was
both.
trying to
You're
make.
right.
So
I can see where you're coming from.
yeah.
The other two things I wanted to say is that I thought it was funny that he said that the right was self-righteous. I mean, we can be, but I feel like I don't know. I see a bunch of, maybe it's because I spend too much time on X. That could be it. But I see so many people who are like literally say that they are not Christians, and then they're like, oh, well, you guys are going to go to hell because you're not Christian enough. It's like, but you don't believe in it, though.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about?
I agree. Yeah.
And then finally, I feel like, and I don't know, maybe this might be like a hot, spicy take here, but I feel like they should be working to improve their own nations, because we've had a lot of like really good success stories from Central and South America recently, with Argentina especially. Like Argentina has been kicking ass and taking names. Like Javier Milei has done an incredible job with Argentina.
Yeah.
And Bukele has done an incredible job with El Salvador. Like, El Salvador used to be the most dangerous country in the world, and now it's one of the safest in Central America.
Yeah, I was there when it was the most dangerous before, when I was in high school.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
there were military just walking around in McDonald's and with AR rifles. So yeah, it was pretty bad. I was like, hey, that's a great thing for El Salvador and stuff like that, because I visited there.
Right, and
for a mission trip.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just want to say that, like, right there, for people saying that, like, oh, that, you know, these people can't improve their situations, it's like, but we have the evidence that they absolutely can. And honestly, and this is going to be, again, I'm putting on my red MAGA hat here. It only gets worse when America goes into a foreign country and tells said foreign country how to run their country.
Yeah.
That has never gone well, ever, which is why we should never do it. Which means that you
I
gotta...
agree with that.
That means the people of their country have to, like... Maybe you can go ahead and take some advice from us, you know? But, like, us going in there and doing things is not gonna end well. So you need to envision the country that you want to see and then try to actualize it. And Bukele, I think, is the greatest example I can think of. Like, that man literally turned one of the most dangerous places into one of the safest. So...
Yeah.
Oh, hey there, Slicks.
I agree.
Today is not Sunday, you're right. We have... we technically were doing SFC on Thursday before we did Sunday. Sunday is just me. So you're here on the good day.
And normally we have Grayson here too, but he's doing VBS.
Yeah, couldn't make it today.
So, and by the way, I may not be here next Thursday.
Oh, okay. What do you got going on?
Yeah, because Sir Jesus Freak is getting married next weekend.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, and there's a possibility that he might have family members staying at my house.
Okay.
So Thursday night, I think I'm going to focus on cleaning because Friday night will be the dinner rehearsal, and obviously I have to be there. So. Right.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully G will be there. I'm going to be all sad and alone.
Yeah. Well, I hope Grayson will be able to make it next Thursday specifically, because it's the rehearsal's Friday, but like the regular Thursday, he should be there. I just need to clean my house.
Yeah, I didn't know if maybe Vacation Bible School was like a 2-week thing.
Well, it depends. When I used to do it, I kind of doxed myself a little bit where I used to go.
I can edit it out if you want me to edit it out.
It's whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, because
I gotcha.
I want to be better about that. But my old church did this thing where it's like 1 week is the younger kids and then 1 week is the older kids, and you can choose to do one or you can do both, and it's whatever. So yeah, I used to play Bible characters.
Oh, nice.
For the kids.
Okay.
Yeah, I was Jesus. Almost every year I was Jesus.
You know, I feel like I should do that. People tell me I look like Jesus.
Do you have, like, long brown hair?
Yes, and the beard. But,
okay, that's funny.
But I'm like...
Well, I didn't...
I'm ultra white, though, so I don't understand. It's like, but Jesus was absolutely not ultra white.
I agree, but most pictures that we see of Jesus, at least here in the States, are him as, like, paler than Snow White.
Damn you, King James!
But yeah, I mean, I would not be surprising that if a lot of people in Africa think Jesus looks like a black dude.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely looked closer to a black dude than me.
Well, I mean, like,
no way you...
dark chocolate color.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, he was probably, like... I know, shocker. Probably very Middle Eastern looking. I mean, you don't walk around in the Middle Eastern sun all day and look pale.
Yeah, true. Unless you have that rare skin condition.
Huh?
That actually makes you white. Unless if you have that rare skin condition. I forgot what it was called.
Oh, albino?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was saying just albino.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so, where are we going with this?
You know, I don't even remember anymore.
That sucks.
You were talking about how you used to play Jesus.
Oh, yeah. It was fun. The only issue is my lines had to be perfect because I'm supposed to be perfect.
Right.
Yeah, so, and the thing is, most of my lines were, like, straight from scripture. So, like in a theatrical sense, they didn't feel natural as much. Because it felt like you're quoting something.
Right.
It was just like, yeah, so, which is fine, because, like, obviously you need to trust scripture, like, word for word and all that stuff, so it was a little strange. I am not an actor, so I just tell my friend. I just tell my friends that do it with me. Sarah Jesus Freak was one of them, actually. That one of my friends that did it with me. But quick funny story. One time, so I was Jesus, and he played as Judas, which is a little ironic because we're like best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my brother also used to do it with us, but like one time he dared Malachi to told him that he would pay him $5 if he went up on stage, and you know where it says Judas gave Jesus a
kiss on the cheek.
Yeah.
Got a little smooch.
He told me to. He told him to lick me on the cheek for $5, and he did it.
Oh.
And I was really having a hard time not breaking character. So it was so funny. And the thing is, I don't even think my brother actually gave him $5 because he didn't even have it on him. To be fair, he was like in middle school at the time, so it was like middle school brain.
Right.
And he probably even didn't think that he would do it.
Right, that too.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have been the one egging him on.
I think I may need to put that story in my best man speech.
Yeah, that would be a real banger for the wedding.
Yeah, I would just say, I just lead it off with like like that one time when you licked me in the cheek.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah. Exactly. Anyways, I need to call my comic.
Stop. Let's go ahead and do one quick thing that we're thankful for, and then close her off in a prayer.
Okay, sounds good.
I feel like we probably should have done the prayer at the beginning, but whatever. We had technicals at the beginning. So for me, I am thankful that like I'm able to like do things like swimming and rock climbing and
Nice.
Yeah, stuff like that. How about you?
Yeah. This might sound a little easy, but for Malachi, my best friend,
nice.
Considering the fact that he's getting married next week, I figure I mentioned that.
Yeah.
He's been a wonderful friend. So to me. So since 5th grade, and it's been 17 years since we've met. So
that's awesome.
And yeah, like most friendships usually don't last that long. So I was very fortunate to have a friend like Malachi. So
you might want to throw that in the best man speech too.
I'm sorry?
I said might want to throw that in the best man speech too.
Oh yeah, 100%. I need to work on that this weekend. Because the bad part on me, I didn't realize this wedding was next weekend. I knew the date. It just
snuck up on you.
Went by so fast.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, oh shoot, I actually still need to pick up my suit this Saturday. So I've already got it fitted. I just need to pick it up. I was like, I need to do that really quick.
I gotcha.
Yeah, stuff like that. Anyways.
All right.
You want to do your outro before?
Well, real quick, do you want me to do the prayer, or do you want to do the prayer?
I'll pray real quick.
Okay.
Dear gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you that we get an opportunity to learn about you. First of all, God, thank you for giving us a free country to where we can discuss things freely. God, sadly, I feel like we as Americans take advantage of that and we'll say mean things to each other. And also, we don't take advantage of, I feel like as Christians, a lot of times we don't take advantage of sharing the love of Christ because we're free to do it here in America. God, I just pray you would, first of all, just change America's heart back to you and remind all of us to continue to show love of Christ to you, God, because we can't be a successful country if we're not following you. I pray this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Slicks, for watching. Thank you to anyone else who may have tuned in and didn't chat with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you to the YouTube crowd who's going to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Oh, and of course, thank you to Stephen for joining me here. Almost forgot.
Always a pleasure.
Right.
It's always a pleasure.